Cryptocurrency is a huge scam. We're reminiscing about all the haters from the earlier days of crypto, and we unearthed this incredible video from noted crypto hater Jeffrey Robinson. Robinson authored the book Bitcoin, The Naked Truth About Bitcoin, and basically went on CNBC to say what garbage Bitcoin is. The interview is full of wild claims that you are definitely going to want to see. First up, Robinson says Bitcoin sucks for transactions.
Starting with the CEO of Visa, who when asked if they would go to Bitcoin said, no, it's a lousy payment system.
Said that to John.
Then he highlights how the SEC was refusing to authorize ETFs, even though the SEC will say yes to almost anything.
And then yesterday, the SEC refused to authorize Bitcoin ETFs. Now, the SEC has a history of authorizing all sorts of candy cotton investments.
And then he says nobody is really using Bitcoin, which we now know is ridiculous.
And yet, 2.5 years ago or so, you said, talking about people who had been holding Bitcoin at that point, many of them will treat themselves to a vacation or a new computer with their Bitcoins, and they don't buy back in. There's no evidence that people who spend down their wallets will buy back in. Little by little, it will just atrophy because nobody is really using it. And yet,
and nobody is using it.
And in case you just can't get enough, here's the rest of his appearance on CNBC. Makes you wonder if he really believes what he's saying or if he's just trying to sell books.
But nobody is using it.
It's above 11,000.
Yeah, and that's a bubble. And I'll tell you something, and I blame this network for bringing on these snake oil salesmen who tell you what a great investment it is. It's not an investment. It's not a currency.
Wait, just to be clear, we're only supposed to have you guys on?
Yes.
Okay.
Or put me and face them, and I'll stop. Because listen, serious journalism requires serious skepticism. And you can't let these guys come on because they're loaded up with Bitcoins, and they're trying to pump it. You know, everybody who's interested in Bitcoin and these snake oil salesmen who come on and pump this stuff should Google, in quotes, the theory of greater fools, because that's what they're all about. There is no use for Bitcoin, and don't tell me the blockchain, because all the blockchain development is now being done without Bitcoin. Then the Satoshi blockchain is dead. It's a failed experiment. It's not a currency. It's not an asset value. It's not a it's not a medium of exchange.
So what is it?
It's a bubble. It's a gamble. It's not an investment. It's a loaded roulette wheel.
Even the Visa CEO told John it could be considered a commodity, a speculative commodity.
Well, yeah, and it's being, by the way, it's being taxed as a pretend commodity. So all the people who have been in and out of Bitcoin, come April 15th, have got a lot of explaining to do or money to pay in capital gains and capital losses to the IRS. This is not an investment. It's a loaded roulette wheel. You're better off in Vegas. The food is better.
I will say we are seriously skeptical as well. That's why I asked the Visa CEO that question, which brought that response. And yet, people continue to trade in Bitcoin.
They're fools.
What should the government do with something like this that's technologically advanced, has a lot of backers, but is difficult to regulate?
No, it's not there's nothing technology about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a pretend currency. What should the government do? You can't legislate stupid. That's what the government should do, is tell people, as the SEC just did, this is a very questionable investment. You know, you go to Vegas, the house always wins. The little guy loses. It's the snake oil salesman who will win. The little guy is going to lose. It's foolishness. It's a bubble. It's tulips. Look up tulip mania. It explains everything.
So who's getting it right? I mean, I know you say Bitcoin, snake oil salesman. Who's getting it right? Real quick, because we got to go.
Real quick, who's getting it right are the people who are investing in the blockchain. Don't forget, 1849, the gold rush in San Francisco. The miners didn't make any money. The miners didn't make any money. It was the guy selling picks and jeans.
Okay.
Wheelbarrows.
Great.
Buy wheelbarrows.
Continued spirited defense of your position and your book. Thank you,
My
Jeffrey,
pleasure.
for being with us.
So what do you think? Was he right? Drop us a comment and let us know.